Good morning.
And good evening, beautiful people. What a week we got ahead of us. Super Bowl week, baby. You know what I'm saying? Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. But we're going to start off talking on this pod about Texas basketball, men's and women's, Deon, because they have a crazy week. And then later on, Austin FC and the MLS season starting to get kicked off a little bit. They had a couple preseason matches already. We're going to have on Sheila Garcia. She is one of the starting 11 for the Los Verdes community. And so we're going to talk to her later on. But for right now, Deon, as always, let's talk about our weeks. How was your week, bro? And did you have a good day?
Man, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. This week has been smooth. I took some time this week to watch the John Wick series on Netflix.
Pew, pew.
Man, I've been missing out. It's crazy that
It's
this
like that?
series. Yeah, no, it's a banger, bro.
Okay.
The series is so funny because it's not funny, but it's a good movie action wise. I'm not a movie critic. I enjoyed the movie. I know some people be real, oh well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, but I love the movie just because it's like, yo, they don't really explain nothing. They just get it. It's like 3 minutes of storyline, and then he just start killing everybody. And it's just like, yo, this is crazy. They don't really explain like how he became that dude, how he became one of the ones, why everybody knows him. But literally, beginning of the first movie is like, yo, he mourning his wife. You know,
didn't they like kill a dog or something?
Yeah, some dudes want to buy his car. He's like, nah, I'm not selling this. So dude decides to say, hey, I'm finna steal your car. We're gonna rob you, kill your dog. And the movie just starts like that, and boom, he's on a killing spree of like, yo, I gotta go find this dude. He killed my dog. You know, my
That's his whole motive, the whole movie?
Yeah, that's the whole motive.
Stop it.
He's just freshly got out of, you know, killing everybody. I guess he's like a secret agent.
Okay.
And then
was he like retired or something?
Yeah, he's retired. He's like, yo, I'm good on killing. You know, he tried to be with his wife. She died. They don't really explain how she died. She just died. And boom, like I said,
like
it just gets him.
Movie.
No, bro, when you watch it, it's
like
crazy.
That. But it's like that.
It's crazy because he just, yo, anything, anybody, any person. I mean, he gonna find a way to shoot you in the head. Break your neck. Like, they just be showing just some crazy stuff. But the movie's just great because it's like, yo, again, there's hardly any backstory to anything. Nobody knows why he's crazy. Nobody knows how he became this dude. But everybody knows who John Wick is, and everybody's scared of him. Besides the people that don't. The couple people that don't know, they're just naive. And then you're like, wait, you don't know who John Wick is? Okay, let me get away from you.
So the streets know.
Let me get away from you because the streets know who Mr. Jonathan Wick is.
Okay,
but yeah, what
would you rate
great.
the series?
I mean, I'm an action guy, so about a 9. I love action movie. Yeah.
How many is it? How many movies is it?
It's 4. They only have 3 on Netflix.
Okay.
So the 4th one came out last year, but
does the plot get better
though? I guess. I mean,
oh man.
I mean, it just gets it goes into like him trying to. He's like, yo, that's it. I'm quitting. I'm going back to just chilling. He finds him another dog. Like, okay, I'm gonna chill. And again, his past keeps coming back and saying, nah, you still a killer, bro. So we need you to keep killing people. You know,
it's like what's that Spider-Man meme with the villain, the Green Goblin, and the mask.
Yeah,
and the you looking at the mask like, I know you want to be the Green Goblin again.
It's still calling him. Yeah, but he's like legit, like, yo, I'm trying to like chill, go back to my crib, and people just continually keep messing with him, and he's like, damn,
now I gotta kill you.
Yeah, and that next movie, he's like, all right, well, I'm good. I killed the dude that killed my dog. Somebody else comes back and say, yeah, John, I mean, you already back killing, so let's go and get you back active for real, man. I need you to go kill this person. He's like, damn. And they just have a whole bunch of different rules where it's like, he can say no, but he can't really say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So,
okay, I guess I gotta watch it. Cause
to be honest,
everyone talks about that series like it's God sent. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone praises that series. Even the Texas football team, they like to call themselves like John Wicks, and like everyone's gunning for us, you know? So we got to shoot back. And so I'm like, if the whole team takes this mantra on, then this movie must be phenomenal. So I guess I gotta watch it then.
No, they've really built him up to be like him. He's one of them ones when it comes to just a character, like a character that, no matter what happens, he could get shot, stabbed. It don't matter. I mean, bro, he had a bulletproof tuxedo. I was like, oh, he's one of them ones, bro. He one of the ones, yo.
That's crazy.
He one of the ones, yo. But what about you, man? Let's talk about talk to us about your week.
Yeah. Well, first, just want to give a shout out to Los Verdes. You know what I'm saying? They gave me a little cup here. If y'all can see it. Like I said, we're gonna be talking to them later on this pod. But this week was pretty good. Not gonna lie to you. So funny enough, bro, I went to a career day at Hornsby Dunlap Elementary School, which, by the way, that school's only been established for 1 year. And it is probably the most beautiful elementary school I've ever seen. Like,
oh wow,
you walk in, it's so futuristic. They got so many different things, and the building is just like glass. Like it kind of is. Wow, kids go to school here. They have no idea how special this is. But yeah, I went to a career day, and like I said, elementary school. So you got 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and man, Deon, they 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, they ask some interesting questions. Their
imagination is all over the place, huh?
Man, they just see the world so much differently than we do. Because of course, like at the end of the presentation, I do my career. Hey, I'm a sports anchor, blah, blah, blah. Like we do this and this. We go live. We go on TV. We go in the studio, wherever you want. And you get Q&A questions, right? Like you have a little session, 5-10 minutes. I had a kid ask me straight up, like, Mr. Cory, how much do you get paid? And is it a lot? I'm like looking around to the other teachers. To be like, am I supposed to answer this question like truthfully, or do I like try to settle it down? And you're looking at me like, how much do you get paid? Everyone's now wondering how much.
Now I was impressed. Now everybody's looking at you.
Now everyone's looking at me. I'm like, well, you see, we don't get paid a lot. We got to work our way up. I played that card. Like, of course, you go to a small market and then you don't make a lot of money there, and then you go to a mid-tier market and then a high market. And so I was like, I'm in the middle ground right now. Not a lot, not a little. So I kind of evaded the question. But another question I couldn't really evade was, what's the worst thing about your job? And I'm like, why are we asking this question? But I guess so. I guess we'll talk about it. And so different questions like that, right? That when you see the world like a different way. And then another girl, I should say, she asked me, like, when you're at the fires or like any type of breaking news, how do you not get hurt when you have to get a shot like right next to the fire? And I had to explain to her, like, well, no, there's like a zoom option. I don't have to be like right next.
Yeah, I don't have to be at the fire.
I don't have to be right next to the fire. Like I can zoom in.
I don't have a
yards
GoPro
away
on my head.
Facts. So just interesting day, but a lot of smart kids there. I will say that, and it was really cool to be out in the community and continuing to like make an impact. But always going into those type of things, I'm always like not dreading it, but it started at 8 a.m., bro. And my schedule, like getting home late from work and then having to get up and drive across Austin to the school in the peak work hours.
That was traffic was disgusting.
Traffic crazy. And so I got to leave the house a little bit earlier than usual. So it took me about 45 minutes to get to the school. So early morning. But once you get there, once you start talking to the kids, I start to realize this is why I do it, right? And making an impact and just seeing the looks on their faces and how excited they are about just having a camera in front of their face. I just think it's a real like rewarding experience. And hopefully I taught them a little something that they could take away so they can actually like learn something from me. Knowing me, I'll be rambling at times. So hopefully they enjoyed it. But yeah, that's basically how my week was. At the high point of my week. And now we're here, right? Watching a lot of basketball. Big week for Texas basketball. Men's and women's. Big week. Big time win too for Texas men's basketball. And so I guess let's get into it now with a little Texas talk. And Texas men's basketball is coming off a big time win over number 25 TCU, 77-66. Double digit lead, but don't let that score fool you. I know Deon, we just talked about it beforehand about how this game was close until about 4 minutes left, and Max Abmas became Max Abmas, and He went on a 13-2 run. And when I say he went on a 13-2 run, that's what I mean. Like, he scored all 13 points to end the game. TCU scored 2 and basically willed the Longhorns to another Big 12 win. And if you're looking at it, Deon, on this stretch with these 6 ranked games, remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how Texas is about to face 6 straight ranked opponents. They're 3-2 right now, and their last game is tonight against Iowa State. We're shooting this Tuesday morning, and so they could low-key come out of this stretch 4-2, man. And I think that's something that if you were going to say going into the stretch, what would be an acceptable record? 4-2 would be acceptable. And so we'll see if they can close the door tonight on this stretch. And then, of course, West Virginia, that game after Iowa State. And then you're looking at maybe decisively 6-5 in conference once you play UH next Saturday and get that rematch against them. So we'll see, But before we talk about the TCU game, let's discuss the matters before the game. You saw this video online swirling with the TCU students reportedly were camping out before this game at 3 a.m. Deon.
That's insane.
For a 1 p.m. tip-off. Camping out at 3 a.m., and everyone's trying to get their horns down shirts, which, by the way, found out that they had to pay UT to use that logo for the horns down because, of course, copyright issues. And so not only are you camping out at 3 a.m. for this game, not only are you paying the university that you're facing to wear T-shirts, but then you lose to them. Like that sucks. That sucks.
That's crazy. For one, to the students, like, y'all don't have no assignments due. You don't have jobs. Like, 3 a.m. for a 1 p.m. game is insane.
It's sicko behavior.
That's crazy. That's crazy, yo. Like, I know you're playing Texas, but what did you do for that's a lot of time.
And
like,
it had to have been cold outside. Like, it's been cold at night lately. So
yeah,
you out here shivering.
I don't get it. I don't think this was one of those games where you needed to camp out. If you're a student, I mean, you're gonna get into the game. So,
but of course,
I'm confused.
Playing
I'm
Texas.
confused why the 3 a.m.
You know what I'm saying? Playing Texas. Last game too, as well, against Texas before they head over to the SEC. So that may have been playing a factor as well about why kids were camping out. But come on, you can't do that and then lose and then lose the game. Yeah. I know if I was a student, I'd be pissed. Not gonna lie to you, I lost sleep for this. And so to start the game though, TCU came out kind of hot. They got out to that double-digit lead. So I mean, to start, the environment was crazy, the atmosphere was loud, and it was working. Until eventually Texas's defense started to pick up, and on the starting lineup, we got a little bit of a change. Got to see UTA transfer. Shout out UT Arlington, you know what I'm saying? Mav up, baby. But Kendall Weaver got inserted into the starting lineup. And you could just tell the energy that he brings on defense, the ferocity that he brings on defense. It's been talked about over the last couple of weeks. It's becoming to be a known thing. But now you gave him an even more boost by starting him and giving that more sense of confidence. And yes, we trust who you are on the court. And he had a nice little backdoor alley early in that game as well to kind of get things going for Texas offensively. And so you're starting to see Kendall becoming a key piece in this rotation and now a starting piece for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with him, if he can develop something consistently on that offensive end, I mean, if it's either this year or if he decides to stay another year, I think he could be a really big piece. I know we're going to talk about it here in a second about his comp build.
Yeah.
But if he can, become what kind of that Marcus Smart was for the Celtics, where Marcus Smart he became a pretty decent 3-point shooter, or just something of that sort of like, okay, we know that consistently, if we give him the ball, he can do this. I think it makes this Texas, it adds another dynamic to that Texas team. And he's not that liability where, yeah, you're giving us great defense, but offensively we're playing 5-on-4. From the clips I've seen, I mean, like you say, his offensive game does need some work, but defensively, I mean, it's very apparent that he can take your best guard and give him a tough night.
Yeah, and even last week we shine a light on what Kelvin Sampson said about Kendall Weaver and how he shouted out just Kendall after the game against UH. He didn't mention anybody else. And he said no disrespect to everybody else in Texas squad, but that Kendall kid is different. And so if you're getting that stamp of approval from a legendary coach like Kelvin Sampson, I think that means a lot, right? And so now you talked about the player comps, the NBA comparisons that Rodney Terry does. And so for anyone who doesn't know, like Rodney Terry has been really big on giving his players NBA comparisons. And a lot of these players, of course, played at Texas or even played while Rodney Terry was an assistant coach at Texas earlier in his career. And so they can go back, these players can, and watch film of these former NBA players that coach may be comparing them to. So they can get an idea of how he sees that they play. And then hopefully emulate the way that these former players played on the court. And hopefully they can transition that into their style of play right now in the present. And so just listen to Kendall Weaver in this press conference earlier this week talking about who Rodney Terry has compared him to.
I've kind of got the Avery Bradley comparison, the defense, to be the ball hawk, and that really boosts my confidence. I went and watched some Avery Bradley highlights at Texas, honestly. So I just trying to mimic his game a little bit.
So I know you mentioned Marcus Smart, Deon, but you hear Rodney Terry, another Celtic, Avery Bradley is a guy that RT feels fit to compare Kendall Weaver to. How do you feel about that comparison?
I like it. I did a quick little research, and Avery Bradley was a top prospect, number one prospect at that time.
People forget.
It's crazy. And then, I started looking at his stats when he was at Texas. I mean, his stats aren't nothing crazy, but almost 12 points a game, a half a block a game, 1 steal a game, which is pretty solid numbers. And I like that comparison. I think if he can, we look at prime Avery Bradley, but if we can get to that consistency of just, hey, like I say, something offensively, something consistent, something where, hey, he's a knockdown free throw shooter, he's a knockdown mid-range shooter, or a great playmaker. I think he can really help this Texas team take that next step of just finding some consistency on that offensive end. Because like you said previously, week after week, that sometimes the offense for this Texas team can go ghost.
Yeah.
Besides one gentleman on this team,
Give it two, little Dessou and Max.
Yeah,
Dessou
and
Max.
Hey, let me make sure I give my shout out Dylan Dessou. Like I was telling Cory before this.
Yeah, talk about it.
The more I watch his game as a big, he's looking more and more like, any team in the league could use a guy like him. Very versatile. He's, like I say, 3-level scorer. I just watched a great dime pass that he did against Baylor, backdoor cut. And I love it because, again, you don't see big men post up as you used to anymore, and he has a solid post game. I think that's something that any team in the league could use, and he's really been impressing me. The more that I watch his game, it's like, wow, this guy's solid, man. This guy's solid.
Then you start talking about the way that this year's game, and let's do a little bit of pause right here on Dessou, and then we'll get back to Kendall. But when we talk about the way Dessou can spread the floor, you say he's a 3-level scorer, and for anyone who doesn't know, that means he can score any point on the court, including the 3-point line. And he's been able to develop that game a lot, shooting a lot more threes this year and showing like, hey, I used to shoot threes back in high school. I used to shoot threes at my other school before I transferred to Texas. And so don't forget, like, I can extend back here. And that element that he's showing now only spaces the floor. And honestly, I asked Dylan Mitchell a couple weeks ago during a press conference, not Dylan Dessou, but Dylan Mitchell. And he's been on the offensive boards lately and averaging 9 rebounds a game. And I said, hey, how much does Dessou spreading the court and stepping back to that 3-point line, forcing his defender to get out there, help you out on the offensive boards? Because now you see D. Mitch crashing the offensive glass so hard, but there's less commotion down there because Dessou has brought his man out. And so those type of things that even if Dessou doesn't make that 3-pointer, he at least is opening up the lane for D. Mitch to get down there and grab the offensive board and go back up with it. So this is all a working piece into this whole Texas Longhorn machine. And it's really cool to see the development of Dylan Dessou and how he's able to score at any point on the court. And with that, with the addition of Max as well, with his abilities outside on the perimeter, it's really nice to see it. I think the only problem has been late in games, who's going to take that shot. And we can talk about that later, but I do want to get back on Kendall Weaver and talk about this NBA comparison of Avery Bradley. And the reason why he was named Avery Bradley by Coach Terry is because of his defensive efforts, right? But even Coach Terry mentioned when Avery Bradley got to the 40 acres, they knew he needed some work on offense, of course. Like right now, he's the quickest guy that we've ever seen defensively, or Rodney Terry would say. And so he was a very, very quick guy on defense, just like how Kendall Weaver is. He uses athleticism a lot. But they knew it was going to be some time for Avery Bradley to develop that offensive game, just like how Weaver, same exact thing. So listen to Rodney Terry talk about why he named Avery Bradley as Kendall's NBA comp. And it was really interesting to hear him explain why he thought those two were similar.
One in particular that I've tried to instill in him was Avery Bradley. AB, we recruited AB out of Seattle. He came in as the #1 recruit in the country. And his calling card was defense. And he made himself an elite level player as an AAU prospect with this defense. We knew his offense was going to be ahead of him in the future, and we're going to continue to work with him offensively to continue to get better. But, AB was one of the quickest guys we ever coached on the ball, quickest guy to make a recovery, and he took a lot of pride in his defense. And I don't know, I think AB played 10 years, 11 years in the NBA, won a world championship with the Lakers, and was a pretty good player for us for 1 year at Texas, and stuff. So, they could see a guy that had been in that same jersey and doing some of the same things that we're asking him to do. AB did for us as well at a high level.
So yeah, Deon, it must be cool, right? As an athlete, to have someone that you're compared to that was also in your shoes, right? Avery Bradley put on not the same Texas jersey, because of course they updated a little bit. Shout out to the long shorts back in the day. But but a guy that was at the 40 acres, playing for the same program that you played for. And now talking about a world champion for the LA Lakers, 10-year vet. And Deon, I know you talked about how offensively Avery Bradley's game started to develop once he got to the league.
Yeah, when we talk about prime Avery Bradley, when them stretches with the Celtics, I mean, he really became one of them guys. And who knows how long, Kendall Weaver's basketball journey will take him. But I mean, if you put the time in, Avery Bradley's not a bad comp. Avery Bradley's not a bad comp, Like, Avery Bradley was gonna give you 20 something a game, 20 plus something a game, and still go on the other end and lock up your best offensive player. So I really like Avery Bradley as a comparison. Like I said, that is something, I mean, that's high praise if you really think about it. So yeah, I think this is definitely, I could see it.
And you can't teach athleticism, right? That's just something you're born with. And so that's one thing that Kendall does have, is elite athleticism. So of course you can teach handles, you can teach a shot. And even Avery Bradley's shot wasn't great going into the NBA, but he eventually got a pretty consistent three-pointer. And especially in those years that you're talking about, Deon, when he was with the Celtics and Isaiah Thomas and that squad and Jeff Green, like, that's when you really got to see Avery Bradley's bag get opened up a little bit. And so Kendall Weaver, there's a lot of optimism about this kid swirling around on the defensive end. But man, if they're able to develop an offensive game over the next couple of years with this kid, he is going to be a problem, especially with his athleticism and just the tenacity to want to win, and you can just see it on the court. He's diving for loose balls. He's getting those 50-50 balls. And to do that, you have to have the heart, to get on the floor. And so to see that he already has that heart, now we just need to develop some skill traits. Hey, the sky's the limit for this kid. And I feel the same about Dessou, right? Dessou's the same way. A kid that's developed over time. And now you've seen the fruits of it in his post game, the way he even boxing out, grabbing boards on the defensive end. He's able to do so many things on both sides of the court that now he's become a pivotal piece, especially on offense for Texas. And you got to see it against TCU. You've been seeing it all year since he got back from his injury last year. And this team is starting to come together, Deon. Like, starting Big 12 play, there was questions about who was going to play what role, who was going to start. who's going to close games for this squad. And now you got Kendall Weaver stepping up in different spots and showing like, no, I'm going to be a key piece. You got Max, of course, solidifying why he's one of the best scorers of all time in college basketball. He's only a couple points away from passing up Oscar Robinson on the all-time scoring list, which is crazy to think about,
Sheesh.
you know, in the same breath as Oscar Robinson. And I know it must be super dope, you know, to be on this platform, coming from Oral Roberts to now a big program like UT, and to keep doing what you've been doing your whole college career, which is getting buckets. Oh, man, it's super exciting. But I say all this to say there's still a problem in my eyes with the way UT closes games, right? I mean, I've been saying this all year in the sense of if Max isn't on, who's going to close the game for UT? And we still haven't figured that answer out yet. Of course, against Baylor, Tyrese Hunter had a great game. And honestly, it was an anomaly type of game, right? He was aggressive on offense. He was locking up on defense. He had a little bit of a slow second half to start off, but then he eventually closed it out with the game winner. But other than that game, no one else has really closed out contests for Texas outside of Max Abmas. Look back against Cincinnati, who hit the game winner? Max did. And then against West Virginia, they were forcing the ball to Max to try to get shots open. He hit a couple, but they couldn't close the game out. And so that's why West Virginia won that game. And then against U of H recently, they go into overtime, can't get a bucket in overtime. They actually tried to give the ball to Kendall Weaver. They liked that matchup one-on-one, and he just couldn't get around his man offensively with that quick first step. And so they had to swing the ball around and force Max up a shot. So at the end of the day, it's really cool. It was awesome to see, right? Against TCU, 13-2 run, all points scored by Max. But my question is still, if Max isn't hot like that, who is going to step up to close out games for Texas? And they're going to have to figure out that answer at some point throughout this year, because Max can't always be the savior, especially on a roster that's this deep. They got to get someone else to step up late in games.
Facts. I mean, this squad is talented, man. The squad is definitely talented. A lot of bright spots. A lot of guys like we were talking before this, taking those large leaps from last year to this year. And I would hope it's Dylan Nassau. Like I say, I'm a big Dylan Nassau guy as of this moment. I think that's a great 1-2 punch of a guard and a big. And I mean, like I say, from the more I keep watching these two, they look unguardable. So if you can just find those two to be those closers, and then just have the other guys, you just got to make the important shots. You know what I'm saying? Do those small things. I mean, this team
starting
is
to figure it out, bro.
Scarier.
Starting to figure it out.
They're looking scary and scary by every game. Every game is like, okay, it may be, you know, it's the Big 12, so all these games are close and crazy. And, you know, recording this pod, I mean, we just saw Kansas beat Kansas. Kansas State beat Kansas. I mean, none of these games are going to be blowouts. Even with the TCU game, like we was talking about, I mean, it was a close game until
3-4 minutes left. Max took over
in the game, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, if they can figure that out and just say, okay, hey, we'll let these two kind of carry us, and hey, the rest of you guys literally just play your position, play your role. Like I said, it can get scary, and I mean, we talk about the standings. I mean, they're putting themselves in good position. In a really good position. But let's go ahead and talk about
before we get into that, though. I did want to mention one guy, you know, because we haven't talked about him, but Dylan Mitchell, right? I mean, this kid, I mean, you spoke about leaps and bounds from last year to this year. I mean, D. Mitch came in as a 5-star recruit. A lot of hype around him, right? Everyone thought he was kind of going to be this one and done guy. But then you see him play last year. He started for Texas, but he never closed out games. And so if you ask any NBA player, any basketball player in general, they would rather close out games than to just be the starter, just to say you're the starter. I think people always understand, like, the people that you should want to be and the player you want to be is the guy that closes games. And D. Mitch didn't close games last year. Jabari Rice should be on the court during winning time. That's what they like to call it at UT, is winning time, right? Last 4 minutes of the game. And so last year, D. Mitch averaged 4 points and 4 rebounds a game. As a 5-star recruit, supposed to be a lottery pick, And those 4 points, I mean, they're basically just 2 dunks, right? Every game, 2 alleys. And so this year, coming into this year, a lot of questions were, how is Dylan Mitchell going to develop, right? And you have all this athleticism from this 6'8", 6'9" wing. And the question is, why isn't he using that on the boards? And that's something that Rodney Terry really challenged him with after coming back from the combine and choosing to stay at Texas another year, is that, man, you got to crash the boards if you want to make it to the next level and be that guy. Defense and rebounding were the 2 things that Rodney Terry really wanted Dylan to focus on this offseason. And you've seen it. Dylan has gotten stronger in the weight room, and he's been more intentional with crashing the glass, particularly the offensive glass. And so now he's averaging 11 points and 9 rebounds. Now, mind you, he averaged 4 and 4 last year. Now he's nearly doubled his averages, averaging 11 points and 9 rebounds this year, which is phenomenal development and huge leap. And now you're starting to see, oh, wait, that next step of his offensive game, right? So Coach Terry wanted him to focus on defense and rebounding, but now you're getting little bits and pieces. Against TCU, he had a couple pull-up jumpers that, like, in rhythm, confident, in the mid-range, and he's getting to his spots, and he's been taking those shots, right, throughout the year. He's had a couple turnaround J's in the post that he's been trying out, and it hadn't really been consistent. But, man, against TCU, it was pretty automatic. And so if he continues to grow offensively and become confident in that side, on that side of the court, it could be really dangerous for other teams trying to defend a guy like Dylan Mitchell because of his athleticism, because of his size and the way he can handle the basketball at that size with that speed. Oh, man, him in the triple threat option, he can blow past you, he can shoot over you because he can jump so high. It's going to be a nasty little opposition for anybody who tries a game plan against Dylan Mitchell if he continues to develop that shot. And, you know, the funny thing is, and I was telling you this earlier, Deon, like, no one really knew he could shoot like that until the video started circulating over the summer last year during the NBA Combine. They're doing this drill, this 3-point drill, and you see Dylan out there just smacking the mugs, bro. And everyone at Texas is looking around like, he can shoot. Like, we didn't know he could shoot. Yeah. He didn't take threes last year. I mean, and teams were leaving him wide open on the perimeter. They were asking him to shoot, and he never did. So that was always confusing to me once we saw the combine video drop, and he's out here taking threes confidently and making them. And it's like, we didn't see this at all during the season. And so coming into this year, I think a lot of people were expecting him to come out guns a-blazing, dropping threes left and right, kind of like how Dessou's doing right now. But maybe he just had a good day during the combine, right? Maybe he was just balling out that day. But now you're getting to see his confidence getting higher and higher as he continues to make and take a lot of these pull-up jumpers in the mid-range. And so, like I said, if he could develop this at a consistent rate with his size, with his jumping capabilities, he's going to be a tough cover while also being able to guard every position 1 through 5 on defense and continue to crash the boards. And so he's already averaging 11 points, which isn't bad in college basketball. I mean, it's actually pretty solid to average double digits, but that's with him having a limited bag right now. If he's able to expand that, oh man, like, he's going to be a force. And I'm excited for his development and for this team. Like I said, if we look at the standings, you know, they're 4 and 5 right now, but they have a game against Iowa State tonight on Tuesday night. They can win that game at home, a place they low-key struggled at this year, which is kind of weird. They already have 3 home losses, which last year they only had 2 losses at home the whole season. And so it's been kind of different this year at the Moody Center. But if they can get this dub against Iowa State at home, and then backdoor, you got a game against West Virginia, a rematch game. And their first game against West Virginia may have been the worst game they played all season, if we're being honest. Like, they let...
Yeah,
bro,
the stats you listed were crazy.
Bro, at Morgantown, they let West Virginia shoot 41 free throws. They put them on the charity stripe 41 times. Texas only had 7 assists that game, but they had 22 turnovers. Like, that's just not winning basketball, right? And they only lost by 3. At the end of the game, they had a shot to tie it. Max low-key turned the ball over. Like I said, it was another situation where they're forcing the ball to Max because no one else can make a shot late in the game. And it just didn't work out that game. But you get a rematch with them at home at the Moody Center in their next game. So if they can get their lick back and beat Iowa State on Tuesday night, then beat West Virginia, I mean, you're looking at a Texas squad that now sits at 6-5 in the standings, which would put them towards the top half of the conference. And after the game against West Virginia, you got another game against U of H where you can really make a leap in the standings. You can beat UH. And so, yeah, I mean, they're right in the thick of things, right? And like everyone was talking about a couple weeks ago, sky is falling, whoop-de-whoop, lost to BYU, lost to U of H. This team sucks. Like, pump the brakes. Bro, pump the brakes. Exactly, bro. You get a big win over TCU at TCU on the road. You got 2 home games coming up before you got to go on the road again and play UH. If you can get these 2 dubs against Iowa State, against West Virginia, this is a completely different narrative right now for this Texas squad. And the more wins they get in the Big 12, the better seeding they're going to get in the NCAA tournament, which means typically a better matchup, but you never know with so many great teams in the college basketball. So, yeah, it's a nice spot to be in if you're Texas. And I feel like they're at the right spot in the season where they're figuring out who they are and what their identity is. And there's still a couple pieces that, like a Ethiel Horton, where do you sit in this rotation? That's a good question. Caden Shedrick, of course, we know what you do defensively, but can your back hold up? Can you stay healthy? Well, what's going to happen with that situation? Awesome. And so you're childish. You're childish. Dude had a bad back, bro. Golly. But what's going to happen with him, right? Can he stay healthy? And so a lot of questions are getting figured out. But for right now, at this point in the season, it seems like Kendall Weaver is going to be a key piece. Dylan Dessou, Max Aismans, we know what you do. Tyrese, can you become that guy at times of this year like you were against Baylor? And a lot of people like to talk about what he's doing a lot of stuff in the defensive end, but this team still needs someone to complement Max Aismans on the perimeter when it comes to scoring. And I think Tyrese should be that guy and could be that guy. He just got to be more aggressive in my eyes and get his shots up. But right now, though, it's a nice little spot. Now, like you mentioned, though, transitioning to women, they're not in a better spot than the women is right now. I mean, the women, they're killing it. 2 big wins over top programs, one against Baylor, and then recently against the number 2 team in the country, Kansas State. They beat them girls. Man, Deon, I was at that game. I mean, it wasn't even close. Like the whole game. I mean, from start to finish, Texas dominated. Yes,
the number 2 team.
Now, I will say this though, just to be real, Kansas State didn't have Okoye Lee, who is their big time 6'6" center. She's like that down low, and not having her changes a lot of things defensively for Kansas State. Now, of course, with Texas having girls like Taylor Jones and Aaliyah Moore down low, it's kind of tough to guard those 2, when there's trees basically in the paint and you don't have your big man. And so they dominated in the paint all game long. And yeah.
Woman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
make sure we got to be politically correct.
And so, yeah, they just dominated down low. And saying that, though, Kansas State was still kind of aggressive on the perimeter. They tried to space the floor to counteract not having Okoye on the court. They just couldn't shoot well. They just didn't shoot the ball well. So when you try to space the floor, like you mentioned last week, you live by the 3, you die by the 3, right? And so they died on this last game against Texas. And Texas offense didn't look great either, for being honest. I mean, Madison Booker finished with 7 turnovers. In the second half, though, she showed up, and we have a soundbite about that. But in the first half, really wasn't great. So their defense carried against Kansas State. And it's cool to see, right? And I want to talk about this to start. I am so proud of Coach Schaefer for the way that he's been able to adapt to his team, right? You know, Deon, like those guys that love their Android and doesn't want to have an iPhone, they're like, Androids take the best pictures, like, okay, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
Android.
That's how it feels like
bubbles.
Coach Schaefer was when it comes to man defense, right? Like he's going to stay in man. He's going to run man, and you better know how to guard someone on ball. But since that Cincinnati game, when Madison Booker didn't play, you have Coach Schaefer now playing more of a zone, and he hates it. You can just hear it in his voice. He hates it when he talks about having to run zone, but it works. it's working for his team, especially with the personnel that he has. I mean, it's been phenomenal with Taylor Jones down low, just guarding the paint and not having to worry about anything else. And then you have Jacquelinda Winantanda at the top of the zone. And we have a soundbite from her later on as well, just talking about the effect that she has in that zone on defense. And now you're seeing the benefits of you adapting to your roster. And so props to Coach Schaefer for seeing that and knowing that my personnel, it could be really good in zone, and it has been. And so against Baylor, that's what they ran a lot, that 1-2-2 zone. And Jacquelinda at the top of it really caused havoc. And just, we have this soundbite from Coach Nikki, Baylor's head coach, talking about the effect of having Jacquelinda up top in that zone and how much it affected her Lady Bear squad.
I mean, we may have had more points off the bench, but I thought Winantanda had a couple of really key baskets for them. Like, that's someone that doesn't score for them. And, you know, for him to sit Shay Lee, you know, who plays 40 minutes a game every game, should have been a win for us. And you know, I just thought she did a good job playing the top of their zone. They had her length in the zone, and then the fact that she went and made a couple baskets for them, you know, was just icing on the cake.
She's a hater. She didn't even. Yeah, she doesn't really score for them.
Bro, you had to throw that in there.
Like, come on, you could have just. Yeah, like that was petty. I can tell if she's upset about the loss, but yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, that was a big piece. Going to the zone, having her at the top of the zone, and I think too, like going to a zone with some of these people being workhorses and playing pretty much the whole game. Mm-hmm. It's a good rest. It's a good break for your team to catch their breath. Okay, we just went on a crazy quick little 6-0 run, or we've been going on a bunch of fast breaks. Let's slow the other team down and get a quick breather, because I mean, like you say, some of these ladies are playing damn near the whole game. Madison Booker being one of them. So it's good that, hey, I can come sit in the zone for a little bit and just catch a quick breather. I think what's your thoughts?
Even against Kansas State, you're starting to see Jacquelinda really being more effective offensively. I mean, she had 7 points in 14 minutes against Kansas State, which is great efficiency, right? And you hear Coach Nikki talking about, heck, when we did the scouting report, she's not supposed to score. We're actually leaving her open. And so when she hits those shots, she hit a big time three with about a minute to go in the second quarter against Kansas State. And it's just like, this isn't what we expected when we looked at film. And so now defenses are going to have to account for her on offense, while also her being so effective at the top of the zone defensively with her length. Like, it's becoming a nice little piece for Coach Schaefer. And Coach Schaefer has been big on telling us all year long, like, Jacquelinda can be so good. I mean, he's been writing for her since week 1 about how he sees her potential. And now that we're getting closer to the end of the season, we're starting to see that a little bit and seeing her confidence getting higher and higher, and her teammates having confidence in her. And I was on the baseline shooting the game, and there's a couple of times where the girls are telling her, shoot it, you're open. You know, we want you to take that shot. And so the more that she gets that reassurance from her teammates, I think the more confidence she's going to have, which means more buckets that she's going to make. And so if you just listen to Coach Schaefer after the game against Kansas State, speaking about Winantanda and how she's developed and become this player that he hoped that she can be, and how she still has some room to grow, and he's excited for the future of one of his guards.
But they know I want to get better, and I'm gonna, we're gonna keep working to get better. Jacqueline is a great example of getting better, y'all. Kid just works. I stay on her. I don't let her slip off. But I need more from her. Like, I'm not doing my job as a coach if I can't get Jacqueline to play like she's playing right now. And I need her to. Her team needs her to. She's a good player, y'all. And right now she's playing with a little confidence. To me, she looks confident out there right now. And I got confidence in her.
Okay, so Jacqueline continues to be a big piece for this team. Another person that I really wanted to mention is Aaliyah Moore, for this squad. I mean, she's been hooping, Deon. Man, starting with Cincinnati a couple games ago, she had 16-7. Those 16 points, she led the team in scoring. Then she followed that up with the game against Baylor, scored 19-7. And then lastly, this last game against Kansas State, 10 points, 15 rebounds. She's on the boards too. And so she's been developing into a really, really, really important piece down low for Coach Schaefer's squad. And the reason why I wanted to highlight Aaliyah is because everyone is talking about Madison Booker, right? But how now, since Rory tore her ACL, Madison had to step up to become basically the leader of this team at a fast rate. Which she's done, exactly. Which she's done as a true freshman, developed tremendously. But no one's really talking about the injury to Deonna Gaston, who has been out a couple games and also not even playing the same amount of minutes to games that she has played. Who, by the way, let's not forget, Deonna was an all Big 12 preseason selection, right? So we're not talking about just a rotational player. We're talking about a game changer. And so with Deonna taking that step back because of her health, Aaliyah Moore has had to step up and play more minutes and be more effective than what she probably was thinking she was going to be coming into the season. And so now she's taking advantage of her extended minutes, and she's been hooping lately and becoming that leader down low when it comes to scoring the basket around the rim. And man, it's really cool to see how, yes, these injuries suck. I mean, injuries always suck. But with this team being so deep, they're starting to find their niche and knowing what role is to play. And it's so great to see them do this so early in the season. They still got the Big 12 tournament to play. They still got the NCAA tournament to play. But to already have this kind of figured out about how we're going to play this game as a team, kind of not like the men's team, right? Because we just talked about how the men's team is still trying to figure out what their identity is at different areas of the court. I think the women's team knows exactly who they are. And they're playing at a high level right now because they already figured out their roles. And you got girls like Aaliyah Moore stepping up, girls like Jack Alinga stepping up. And even, of course, you got to throw Madison Booker in there. Like, filling into these spots that, man, didn't know that they were capable of performing in this way, but they are proving people wrong and showing that even though we lost arguably our best player, we still have a shot at winning the title. And it's really cool to watch how they haven't slowed down. They haven't given up, but instead said, you know what? Watch us. Watch us prove that we deserve to be here.
Man, yeah, this team is gonna be this team's a special team and a scary team. Like you say, having it already figured out, you're having contributions from all over the team. And you're right, bro. This zone, if
stick with
coach can stick with it, I know it's killing him inside. Oh, we're the zone. 1, 2, 2. I know it's just making him. Oh no! But if he can stick with it, I think that might be one of the biggest additions that he's added into this system, into this team. And I mean, if they keep moving how they're moving, I mean, again, they're going to be a sight to see in the tournament, Big 12 or the NCAA tournament. So yeah, this team, I mean, they're on the up and up. I don't really see, as long as they can stay healthy, knock on marble, knock on wood. That's a big. As long as they can stay healthy, this team is a scary team. This team is going to continue to be a scary team.
Convincingly too. Convincingly. Now, mind you, like I said, disclaimer: Okoye did not play, which is a big factor, of course. But let's not forget, Texas ain't got Rory. Texas ain't got a healthy Deonna Gaston, so it's not like Texas was fully healthy either. So there's arguments on both sides. So that's why I feel like this win was a big time win for confidence. And I think after the game, you got to see so much emotion from Deonna, emotion from Aaliyah Moore, and just showing like this really meant something to them. And they really feel like it was personal that they weren't getting the national recognition because Rory got hurt. They're like, no, we can still compete at a very high level. And they proved it this past weekend. And so hopefully Austin FC can prove the same thing. Because a lot of people are saying, was week 2 a fluke? I mean, not week 2, season 2, a fluke when they went to the Western Conference Finals. And then last year, you have a season where everything fell off. They didn't even make the playoffs. And so preseason now, they're back on the pitch, doing a couple matches here and there. They made a couple roster moves. And so to break all that down and to talk about it, we spoke with Los Verdes Starting 11 leadership team member, Sheila Garcia. She was able to catch up with us about Austin FC. And listen to this interview. We got a lot of good stuff about what's happening with the Verde and Black. All right, so now we're joined by Sheila Garcia. Nice to see you, Sheila. How's the day been? How's the week been so far?
Oh man, it's been great. So, weather's glorious, so gotta love that down here in Austin, and just getting excited, getting some good Austin FC news. So happy about that.
A lot of news, that is, man. All over. It seems like every day something's popping off for Austin FC country. Some of the most recent news is all the preseason matches that's been going on, different lineups throughout each match as well. It feels like Coach Wolf is trying to figure out what combinations he liked the most. And so, from y'all's perspective, what have you seen from these preseason matches, and what have you heard that's been going down, and what are you kind of excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty fun. Like you just said, he's mixing up the lineup, so I've been to a lot of Austin FC 2 matches, so it's been fun to see the FCito boys get some time and get some goals. And I think it's just been nice to see our team as a whole, our players have fun again. Last season was rough, and so I think preseason's been good. We won a game. I think we tied a game or two, and yeah, it's been fun. So that's what we want. We want fun back in the players.
Yeah, you just want to see them smiling again. I feel like
Yes.
the second year was all laughs and giggles. Everyone's having a great time, and of course, facing some adversity this past year, that's never great.
Yeah.
But you got to learn, you got to grow from that. And so one thing that they have learned is bringing in more talent, and so recently we got a new signing, a new Diego and number 14. This time Diego Rubio. A lot of great accolades, a lot of experience as well. He's actually coming off a really good season back in 2023, scoring 16 goals throughout that year. And so what do you kind of feel like Diego fits into the fold? And is it weird seeing a number 14 with Diego, but it's not Fagundes?
Yeah. I think you nailed it there too. Diego Fagundes is always going to have a place in our supporters' hearts. I even have an OG primary kit with Diego Fagundes, number 14, and he'll be my 14, but I'm absolutely ready to welcome Diego Rubio. And from my knowledge, like you just said, great guy on the field. And I'm excited. I heard he's a little bit of a shithouser, as they say. So we're ready to have that back. We missed Felipe from season 1 and 2, now out in Orlando. So I'm ready for that energy. And if he can elevate our team, like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's have Rubio on the team and see what he can bring us this year.
I love that name, by the way.
Yeah. It's the other thing we have a Diego chant with the La Muerga, and so we can either repurpose that, or there was some chatter about Rubio being his last name, doing it like from Rufio, so Rubio. You remember that? Captain Hook.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so on that note, though, how are y'all able to create, and what is the process of creating different chants for different players?
Yeah, well, La Muerga de Austin, they're the band, really the heartbeat of our supporter section. They practice every Tuesday. They had some off time in their own off season, but they're getting back tonight, actually, this week. And so they take, let anybody present ideas, and we have Slack that we communicate through Los Verdes, which I'm a member of, and then also in La Muerga, and then present it to those practices. And then from there, it's kind of like, okay, like what rises to the top, right? What makes sense? And does it tie into everything that we're going into the future? So it's definitely, anyone can put in an idea, and then we see it through the end. So it's been fun to see that list grow since season 1.
And when it comes to, Deon, you have a question about the new things that drop?
Yeah, Cory sent me this. How are y'all feeling about this new Austin FC kit that leaked? Apparently, Cory told me that it was on FIFA that it leaked. How are y'all feeling about it? Do y'all like it? Do y'all love it? And how did you get the news about it, or did you get it like everybody else?
It's pretty crazy that a video game is the one leaking our jerseys these days, right? But I think we've kind of had a leak every season in a way of sorts. And so every year it's like, okay, is this really the kit? And then it kind of becomes like, well, it's mostly the kit. Maybe it'll have a little differences. I think the color is going to be fun. It seems to be like a cream color with a different shade of verde, which we kind of have had. And I'll say, the first year, the first big deviation was that Sentimiento mint kit. And everyone was like, no, right away. It was like, this is not our color. And then we saw it in person, and then we're like, oh my God, it's
beautiful.
So cute. Yeah, exactly. We're like, we want it.
Beautiful.
And now it's like some people's number 1 kit. So I think, we're always excited about that New Jersey drop. Seems like there's a couple of hints to old Austin lore, in the music scene. And so I'm excited. I like, I'm new to this soccer scene, so every New Jersey, I'm like, oh my God, I want it. How do I have $180 to throw down? But we do it. We do it because we just can't not have it. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a nice new color and fun to see new kits.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see those. But I just thought it was weird that EA leaked it.
Whole video game.
It's like, man, that's the source. No one communicated. Hey, maybe we shouldn't put it on the game yet because the club haven't. That's weird to me.
Be a little tighter ship there.
Just a little bit, but like you mentioned, I love the cream color. I think that's a real nice touch. And I feel like cream is in nowadays. So I definitely agree with you
the
there.
Longhorns have that cream basketball jersey. It's nice.
Exactly. And especially with the script on it. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So I get you right there. And other thing I just wanted to talk to you about, just on a broader scale, the World Cup happening. News came out that the final is going to be in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. I thought it was kind of weird that New Jersey was the one that's going to get the final and not Dallas, especially since New Jersey's an outside stadium. Now, I know World Cup is going to be happening in the summer, but to me, you don't want to risk it. Like, having some type of rainful day that day, like, who knows what's going to happen with the weather when that day comes around. And plus, it's New Jersey. Like, no offense to MetLife, but I would expect AT&T Stadium to get it. So, what was y'all's thoughts whenever you saw all the site locations?
Oh man! Well, first of all, tell them that it's New Jersey to the Jets and the Giants. They still trying to figure that out. But I think the stadium itself. I think it's more about the city. I think that for the World Cup, and it's in the name, but you kind of just think about it. You're like, oh yeah, we're playing in the U.S. That's awesome. But it's truly like the World Cup. We have people coming from so many different countries. So for me, it was more about like the transit system. Does the city have enough, room and board to house everybody? Does it have a true transit system, like I just said? So Dallas, I think, has the room and board, has the space, but it doesn't have that infrastructure in regards to subway or a train line in the way that even LA has a little one. I think they were in the mix for a hot minute. But yeah, I think that's probably why New York won out, is just mainly that. The stadium itself, for one, I just don't really like watching soccer in a American football stadium. But I've done it. I went to the Atlanta away game and watched it. And once you're there, it's like, wow, this is pretty awesome to see this many people watching this sport. So, it's definitely odd. Jersey is hilarious. I've been to that stadium too, but I think it was more based on the transit and the boarding situation. So, I will see what those tickets go for. That's what I'm worried about. Someone who wants to attend.
You make a good point, though.
Start the payment plan now for that. I know them tickets are going to be nasty.
That's right. Yeah. You think Taylor Swift's got something on tickets? Just wait.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you made a good point, though, about the transit system. Because actually, Deon and I, we both attended UT Arlington. And, that's where AT&T Stadium's located, is in Arlington, not in Dallas, of course. But when we were in Arlington, one of the biggest that they talked about was how that's the biggest city in the nation without public transportation. And so I can't imagine having the World Cup there and no really real public transportation with all those people. It makes sense why the final wouldn't be there. But they do have the most matches, I believe, out of all the cities when it comes to the allotment of the tournament. And so, it's going to be interesting with all those people flocking to the city with not a lot of public transportation. So
better get your Uber and Lyft card ready.
Yeah, that's
going to be 24/7 grinding, trying to take people. Because
that's right.
If you've been to a Cowboys game,
oh man, it's impossible.
Bring some car snacks, right?
Yeah. Well, you also said that you're not a fan of watching matches in football stadiums. Why is that?
I think, the beauty of the game, like the reason that Q2 Stadium is such an amazing atmosphere outside of the supporters group and seeing so much Verde and Black on all the people attending is because it was designed for soccer. Like they truly built it for that sport and that experience. And so that it's just hard to translate. I also went to the Boston away game last season. And so I watched the game in the New England Patriots stadium. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it was fun and it was great. We got to be close because the bowl was lower, but then it's just so empty at the top. So I think, yeah, that's why it's fun to watch a soccer match in a soccer specific stadium, because it's built for that experience.
That's awesome. Oh, that makes a lot of sense though. Like you want to be able to, you built it for a reason, right? You built the stadium for a reason. Yeah, and the stadium at Q2 is beautiful, by the way. So I just want to give you just this time to kind of explain for anybody who hasn't been to an Austin FC match, what is so special about that experience, and why do you go each and every night?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, for me, it's always the people that keep me coming back to any experience. And so I feel so welcoming. You just walk in, and of course, if you're wearing the Verde and black and other people there, you just hear Listos and Verde being shouted left and right. And you just kind of, chant along the way. But even for away supporters, for Los Verdes, we are very mindful. And it's like, hey, like, we want to say hello. Thank you for traveling. Like, if I see someone in the other team's colors, I'm like, hey, did you come from Minnesota? And they're like, yes. I'm like, awesome. Thank you for traveling. We're going to kick your butt. Like it's a good, friendly banter. But yeah, it's all about the people. I think also the stadium did a great job of bringing in local food suppliers and beverage offerings. So, the food around the stadium is from local eateries. We've got some craft beer in the stadium. We'd like more. Thank you, Anthony Freecourt. But yeah, I think, it's a great experience. It's built for that match. And then the band and the chants and the supporters group, it's just a fun all around situation at that Q2.
If somebody wanted to get more involved with Austin FC, what would you recommend them do? Would it be, joining y'all, or what would be their steps, or something you'd recommend? Because I know Cory was telling me that most of the games are on Apple TV.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend to them to, become more engaged if somebody's looking to pick up more on soccer and, take the route that you're taking?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think if you're going to a match, like, try and get in that supporter section. It's 3,000, 3,500 seats. And they're usually the cheapest tickets available, because they're general, they're GA, everyone standing, but you get that taste of that environment. And then people are next to you, and they can tell that you're a first timer. So they're like, here's a song sheet. Like, we have the chants printed out. We try and help them get involved. We let them know, like, you're going to be in beer showers. You're in the splash zone.
Yeah, don't put on your freshest fit, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I've got game day shoes, and I've got shoes that I wear for non-game day matches.
Please elaborate on the splash zone for somebody that is not familiar with what that is.
So we specifically have at least one song that creates the opportunity at throwing usually water these days. Season 1, it was a lot of beer and other liquids. And then we all did learn, like, hey, we don't want sticky stuff all over ourselves. So now you'll just see cups of water being brought out, like, literally to the capos. The capos are the song chant leaders that are on the stands. And so people down underneath are, like, giving them cups of water, placing them on their stands. But yeah, you just throw it in the air, and you'll just see it's like boom, boom, boom. And then you see craziness, water everywhere. It's so much fun. It's much more fun when you're expecting it, right? So yeah, come into the SS experience that way. And then, like, familiarize yourself with the local supporters groups. Like I said, I'm in Los Verdes. We have about 1,500 or so members. La Muerca de Austin is the band. So if you're excited about an instrument, they'll teach you. Even if we have band members that have never played before, but joined Muerca and have learned over the last few years by practicing. That's also where the capos are. So if you're like, I am not musically inclined in that sense, but I can use my voice. Go ahead and be a capo. And then we even have banderas, which is the flag wavers. So that, at the end of the day, when you really see that experience come together, it takes all of those, and that's all part of Muerca. And then you've got Austin Anthem. We've got Fighting Leslie's, which is more of a drinking club. And they're like, yeah, we literally are here to drink and have fun and cheer on our Verde and Black. And there's even Single Dulce. Like, there's so many different supporters groups. So get in that rabbit hole, that black hole of Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and just start searching Austin FC, and you'll trail off. And then come to the preseason parties. Hop Squad is a great place, brewery local, right across the street from the stadium. Tons of people are there before the pregame, and you can kind of just engulf yourself in all of the atmosphere.
Yeah, she was definitely right about, it's a lot better experience when you know what's coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounded like you didn't have a good experience.
Sorry about that, Cory.
There's been
I
a
can
couple
tell you
times.
probably had a nice fit on.
I'm shooting the game. I'm shooting the game at the bottom, and we're right below the splash zone and the supporter section in general. And so one of my first experiences there, I'm just doing my job, shooting the game with the camera, and the next thing I know, I'm feeling liquids on me. I'm like, bro, what is going on? I'm turning around. It's like, oh, everyone's splashing water right now. I got this suit on. Next game definitely came bummy. Did not have on anything crazy. It's just a learning experience. That's all it is. But I love it though. I love the atmosphere and the intensity level at all times, Deon. There's never like a log or anything like that, or no type of downtime when it comes to soccer matches. It's always go
full 90. Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, transferring from like your basketball, football into soccer. If you need to go to the bathroom, you need to go before the game starts, at halftime, or you hold it, because you miss so much of the game live watching in the stadium. But yeah, it's with the chanting too. Like, we go full 90. We've had a couple of weather delay games over the years, and we don't stop. We chant the entire. There's been games where we've been chanting for 3 hours, chanting and playing music. It's intense and amazing all at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Fire.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But that's why it's so important to have y'all there. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. It's also important to have you on this pod. So I appreciate you for coming out, Sheila, and talking a little bit of Austin FC with us. I can't wait to see you at the first match, huh?
Yes, absolutely, Cory and Deon. When you get down, you come and visit Q2. We'll show you a good time.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And don't wear the nice fit, bro. Don't wear the nice
fit. That's in my notes. That's in my notes. Go thrift shopping.
That's right.
But really quick, before you get out of here, just drop some of your socials, I guess, where people can connect with y'all. If they, like you say, some of the groups that you listed, if they want to join or get more information, or just become part of this fanfare that, I mean, it sounds like if whatever you're into, whatever your personality is, they have something for you. Can you just drop some of those groups or how they can join?
Absolutely. So Los Verdes, our Instagram, Los Verdes ATX. Our website is losverdesatx.org, because we are a 501c3 nonprofit. And we're all about football y comunidad. So we do a lot of fundraising, a lot of volunteering, a lot of art creation as well. So keep an eye on that. It's a new game. And follow us on all the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Los Verdes ATX.
Great interview, huh, Deon? What'd you take away from Sheila?
I mean, the fact that, as adults, they just created a large fandom group that really supports this team. And I'm not big into soccer, but the videos I've seen you take at some of these games, you would think that this team's been around for a long time, and she said it, 1,500. Yeah. She said they started with 20 people a few years ago, and now they're at 1,500 people. That's crazy. And I could just imagine having that home field advantage, playing at your crib. Like, that's
when they talk about the splash zone,
that's
dude,
fire. But what about you?
They're being dead serious. Like, if you don't want to get any liquid on you, do not sit over there, because you are going to stay far away. Like I said, bro, my first time, I just got stuff on my suit. I was like, what is going on? But once you embrace it and you know what you're getting yourself into going in, then it's super fun. It's a real dope atmosphere. And so, yeah, definitely got to get you to a match, bro. Because Q2 Stadium be rocking. Your little Apple Watch be showing loud environment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I go there, bro, loud environment ringing on my. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do anything about it, Apple Watch. Calm down. I'm here. I'm in the thick of it. But so
that's crazy.
Speaking about crazy, there's a lot of crazy stuff on social media. Oh, my goodness. As always, we're going to bring back this segment. How'd you think of that?
Man,
Deon and I have a couple of tweets that we saw this week that made me laugh out loud and also made Deon laugh out loud. So we're going to share a couple with you. Deon, you want to kick us off?
Starting off, this hilarious tweet from Bleacher Report, right? Shout out Bleacher Report. Says Eagles will kick off their 2024 season on Friday night in the first ever NFL game in Brazil. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to Brazil. Y'all getting some NFL action. But the funny part is that we have a tweeter here, or this gentleman, Boo RX Dudley. Mario Stanfield, shout out to you, my brother. This guy quotes the tweet and says, "We ended the season so bad that I don't even want us in America for week 1."
Ah, the Eagles suck. Ship them to Brazil.
Where's the farthest place we can send them? let's get them out of here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, after the Eagles put up a stinker to end the season, I think this is well deserved for them to let's go ahead and shoot.
They put up a stinker to
go to
the last 2 months of the year.
Please don't play terrible.
It's like
exactly. Just
don't feel like seeing you anymore.
We don't feel like it.
And the worst part to me is like they used Jalen Hurts as the picture. And him and his Pro Bowl performance this past weekend and did not help his case. Did not help his case at all.
Bad
One of the worst QB precision passers from the event that they did at the Pro Bowl. He's missing the 1 point Johns, bro. Like, man, they're already cooking you for only doing the tush push. Like at least show them you can throw the ball. And that's my fraternity brother.
And like we were saying, but it even makes it worse that Dan Orlovsky comes out there.
Some slacks, dude.
Button up.
Typical 40-year-old white dad, bro. Like just slinging it around.
Dan Orlovsky known for running out of bounds. Running out of bounds. What is it? The safety. We're doing the safety. And this is he just comes in and has the best score on all of these.
May have been his best performance in his whole career. Crazy and some slacks. Crazy. Oh my goodness!
Crazy.
But unfortunately for the Eagles.
What about you, Cory?
That's not a good look. Talk to us. But for my tweet, it comes from Who Is Him at Who Is Him, the Conspiracy Brother. That's literally his Twitter name, Conspiracy Brother. But there's a picture that Flavor Flav, you know who Flavor Flav is? Big time clock around his neck. He posted a picture with Taylor Swift. Crazy enough.
Not AI.
Not AI generated. Yeah, in fact.
This is AI generated.
This is a legit picture with Flavor Flav and Taylor Swift together. Flavor Flav said, "Y'all waited long enough. King Swifty and Queen Taylor Swift just for you." That was the caption. So, of course, they're laughing, having a great time. Taylor Swift is looking at him. And someone quote tweeted, Conspiracy Brother did, and he says, "She thinks this is Patrick Mahomes Sr." And low key, I can see it. I can see it. Can you imagine?
Trav, I just took a picture with your dad back there.
Can you imagine Taylor being like, "Oh, I know that guy. That's Patrick's dad. Let's take a picture real quick." It's freaking Flavor Flav. Which, by the way, speaking about Patrick's dad, can we get this dude a driver? Can we get him a driver? Like, why is he getting arrested for DWI? Like, what is Jackson doing? Jackson, stop making TikToks and go pick up your dad. Like, his son is about to be arguably the bro Super Bowl ring. Like, Super Bowl week. About to make history, possibly. And you're getting arrested for DWI, which, by the way, this isn't his first time. He's been in jail before for drunk driving. And, not a drunk driving advocate. I actually got hit by a drunk driver before. And so it's like, dude, come on. Your son makes too much money to be having you drunk drive. Like, someone needs to get him a driver. There has to be somebody. But, hilarious tweet, though, from Conspiracy Brother. And all the Swifties don't come after us. We thought it was funny.
Hey, if y'all retweet us, hey, well,
stop it,
a Swiftie jersey. Hey, what's up? Join, comment, subscribe.
I do hope she makes the Super Bowl, though. I'm on the.
I'll join the.
I guess the outside. I feel like a lot of people don't want her to make the Super Bowl because she has that show overseas. Yeah, she's got to fly back. The NFL will make it happen.
That's like the highlight. Yeah, the NFL will have a weather delay, and
oh man,
yeah, she'll be there. Taylor, you up the road? Okay, yeah, no. Hey, we'll just say something's wrong with the turf. Yeah, just give us what you need. 30 minutes.
Did you hear that though?
Take an hour.
Conversation going on with you. Speak about the turf. 49ers have been complaining about the practice facility because they're practicing at UNLV, but the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders Stadium. Yeah, their practice facility. And so the Chiefs are like, I mean, the 49ers are like, this turf sucks. This turf is god awful. Now, mind you, well, there's natural grass out there, so they practice on natural grass.
Crazy.
And they're saying it's too soft. Like the grass is too soft. It's just sticking to their cleats. And so NFL came out and was like, it's up to our standards. Y'all are complaining because it's not to your preference. Deal with it. But like, it's a Super Bowl. I would be kind of mad
crazy.
too. Like
Yeah,
I have a
that's
certain
crazy.
standard that I have my practice facility at, and you're forcing us to play at this college facility, which by the way, our opponents are not practicing here. They're practicing at the Raiders facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
The fact that y'all can't split it up. Hey, we practice in the morning, y'all practice at night, or whatever the case may be. Like, that's kind of crazy. A whole different league, a different. This is not even the pros. This is not even.
So I would be kind of ticked off too. That's to be
crazy.
honest. But we'll see if it plays a factor in the NFL game. Because even think about last Super Bowl, bro. Remember everybody was slipping around? Yeah. It played a factor last year. So I can imagine if it starts to happen this year and maybe someone gets hurt because they're playing on that practice field the whole week. Oh, man. The talk is going to get loud about conspiracy theories. Lord have mercy.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, look. Yeah, no. The script. Yeah, I mean, the NFL. They're not gonna be able to beat the script. I mean, they've been able to hold it off, but I mean, if that happens, Brock Purdy rolls his ankle on something, like
it's gonna be a bad look.
Yeah,
you
gotta cancel the Super Bowl or something. I don't know.
Hey, before we go, what's your prediction for the Super Bowl? Here you go.
Man, the script is too strong, bro. The script is too strong. You know, I definitely see Kansas City finding a way to win. I want to see the 49ers win, but it's just too much, bro. I mean, I know Vegas is favoring
I don't think it helps
the 49ers.
The 49ers at all.
And I just think exactly. I think that makes it worse. I think, you know, it's just too much stuff adding up to the Chiefs are gonna find a way to win. So I'm gonna say my safe bet is the Chiefs. I think it's definitely be a close game. I don't think it'll mean nothing crazy where they were blowing them out. I say 21-24, something around there.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see that. But talk to all my betting friends. You know, I'm not a big better, but everyone after last week, they're saying, or 2 weeks ago, they're saying don't ever bet against Patrick Mahomes. Like that's like now a betting rule. Like just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, especially in the playoffs, because you're going to lose a lot of money if you do. I mean, I know a lot of people who bet the Baltimore Ravens to beat Kansas City. And to be honest, if I did bet, I would have picked Baltimore too, you know? But Patrick Mahomes figures it out every single time. And so, yeah, I'm going to say Pat as well. They get it done. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, they have a nice little hoorah at the end of it. Andy Reid, we got to start talking about this guy, right? Being up there with the greats of head coaches. And when I say up there, I mean like Belichick level in my eyes. You know, of course, Belichick, to me, him being the general manager as well during that time with the Patriots, no one really talks about that, but he not only coached the team, he made the team. So you got to give him some credit for that.
Right.
But man, the things that Andy Reid has done over this tenure with Kansas City, and even the stuff that he did in Philadelphia, he was successful there. I think at a certain point, we got to start giving him his flowers. And so assuming they do win, that's a topic of conversation for another day. But yeah, I'm picking Chiefs. Same thing though. Their defense has been playing well, low scoring game. 49ers defense, we know what they can do with what they're built with over on that side of the ball. And I'm thinking as well like a 20-17 type game. And I think the Chiefs take it. So that's my prediction for the Super Bowl. Any final thoughts, Deon?
Final thoughts. Yes, I say we need to get rid of streaming so we can have our shows being back to 20 episodes. I hate this new generation of seasons being 7-8 episodes, and they're doing 4 episodes this year and 4 episodes in 6 months or next year. I think that is the dumbest thing in the world. I want our shows to be 15, 20 episodes like they used to be. I mean, the best shows, you talk about Suits, you talk about Burn Notice, you talk about Royal Pains.
Yeah, fire.
Anything that was on the USA, really, bangers. And all of them were 15, 20, 6, 7 seasons. Like I hate watching a show when it's one season.
It's an easy binge though.
8 episodes. So no, I hate that because then you get invested and it's like this show's never coming back. You never know if this show's coming back or if it is coming back.
That's fair.
I gotta wait 2 years.
That's fair.
Yeah. So please, if we need to get rid of streaming, I'm all for it. If we can get our shows back to 15, 20 episodes.
Man.
But what about you?
These Apple Vision Pro things, bro.
Oh man, it's gonna be our downfall.
I've never seen anything closer to like iRobot, right? Like I am slowly getting more and more nervous with the technology that's coming out. And I don't know if you've seen that video. I can send you it on Twitter. That kid at the Boston Celtics game with the Apple Vision Pros on.
Oh,
and he's pretending like he's in the game, sitting courtside, by the way, folks. Like, this kid is sitting courtside, and he has these Vision Pro things on. And he's, kid you not, standing up, pretending like he's in the game because in his eyesight, it feels like he is because he's wearing these Apple Vision Pro things. And so he's on the court shooting jumpers while the game's going on. Dude, like, legit thinks he's in the game. Courtside.
It's courtside too. Like you paid money to go to the game and watch it through some goggles. And it's crazy. I hate it when it just randomly.
Yes.
That's all I see around everywhere now is people trying to
driving with it.
People driving with these things on.
People in subway stations texting people, just typing in midair because that's the way they text on them. Like it's so like. You ever seen Black Mirror? Oh man. I
haven't. I don't.
You're talking about stuff that like binge watching.
That stuff's gonna make me sad if I watch it. So
bro, it's too realistic.
I try to avoid that.
That stuff that happens in that show is too realistic, and this Apple Vision Pro things, to me, reminds me of that show. And like slowly but surely, we're gonna get taken over. Our minds are gonna get messed up. I don't know. I'm a weird guy when it comes to that.
And again, The Simpsons predicted this again, which is insane.
Like they always do.
Mean, there's something.
So let's not make that a thing. It costs $3,500 to buy, I believe. So it's a bag. It's a bag. But people are buying them. I'm sure they're sold out wherever you try to go. You know, if you got money, you just want to buy it just because you got money. But I don't want to live in that reality at all. That's for sure. I am good with my own 2 eyes seeing the world this way. I don't need a whole alternate reality.
Yeah,
the way I live life because there's already a lot of stuff going on. But
now I got to worry about somebody driving with these on. It's
like, we're good on that, bro. We're good on that. Leave it, Apple. Please leave it. Man. Don't take over the world. So that's all we got for this week's pod. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much, and also continue to like, tweet, retweet, subscribe, all that. Help us out. Comment below anything you want to tell us. And as always, Deon. Oh, what's up?
Oh, wait, before we dip. Hey, we're looking for editors. If you're an editor, if you want to edit the pod, if you're somebody that's good with social media, hey, we're looking for anybody that's down for the cause. Just want to help you boys out. Doing this is a lot. For us being a 3-man squad is tough. So if you have anybody that's wants to edit the pod, that's or also good with social media, hey, shoot us a DM. Shoot us. Hey, we're willing to collaborate.
Appreciate that as always, y'all.
Yeah, but let's get out of here, bro.
YERRRRR.